Welcome back to the fourth episode of the Potato Finance Podcast. I am here with my friend Josh Valladolid. Josh, how are we doing today?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
So I actually really want to give Josh a really big thumbs up here because Josh is never on time. And we agreed at 5:30 to do this podcast. And he was actually here right on time at 5:30. He's like, best case scenario, I will be there for 5. But he was here for 5:30, which was the original time discussed. So that is a big thumbs up. Now this episode is going to be a little bit different. So the previous 3 episodes, the one with Nick, that was a lot of trading, investing. Chris was more catered around mental health, but there was some investing in there on the real estate side. And then the one with Evan was more catered towards investing, trading, all those things, Wall Street bets, those great things that everyone loves because Dogecoin's going to the moon. But in this episode, Josh is actually not the biggest investor. So we're going to kind of pick Josh's brain a little bit, kind of debunk some of the myths that maybe newer investors or people that are just getting into the markets really might have, and all those things, and we're just going to kind of go from there. And our goal here is when Josh leaves my house today, we are going to try to get him to be able to feel confident investing his money into some asset that's going to make him lots and lots of money. But anyway, going towards you, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself, maybe how we know each other, just kind of your background, anything. You have the floor.
All right, so a little about myself. I used to work with Josh, and we kind of goofed around a little bit, and I used to actually have a false perception of him that he was like, this but I was kind of like the same way, and kind of don't judge a book by its cover, but I ended up making, he's a great friend of mine now, and I actually admire a lot of the work that he does, and he's inspired me to break out of my own shell in that aspect, and be open to new things and not like keep myself in this box. So, but we met through work. We became friends. We had our famous butt versus dining basketball team.
Yeah.
Which we are the first and only champions. And, he left the job eventually and has been doing bigger things. And we remain friends throughout. So,
what are kind of some of those things that you've really gone outside your comfort zone to do that you mentioned?
So recently, I decided to make my own YouTube channel, and it's Hybrid 1K, but it's more of like a gaming channel. I've decided to kind of like stop like this party life and kind of like living in my 20s. So like in high school, I was more of the quiet kid, and I didn't really have like a lot of friends, and because of that, I was really focused on school and sports and things like that. But when I got to college is when I was like, I kind of had this this moment where I broke out my shell and became a different person. So I kind of grew, and to be honest, I kind of wasted it doing partying, hanging out with friends and stuff like that. But so now I'm past that, and I'm trying to become a better person. And if that's open to stocks and trading and stuff like that, I'm just willing to grow in that aspect, learn things.
Yeah, we were talking about this the other day, and we actually talked about this on the podcast with Chris, that really partying is probably one of the biggest time wasters out there in the grand scheme of things. Like when you're in like your college years, like, early 20s, maybe late teens, you think that's all there is. And I mean, good reason, because a lot of people, they're in that environment.
Yeah, I thought I was missing out.
Right, exactly. You feel like you're missing out. You feel like really opt to do it. But once you get a little bit older, like maybe not even mid-20s, maybe like, junior, senior year, you start in like college, you start to realize that maybe there's better ways for me to spend my time. And I know if I could go back, I would definitely I would have started this YouTube channel and podcast a lot earlier, I can tell you that. But I would definitely have allocated my time very different, I guess, as much as I could, because I was working and going to school full time. So I feel like there's only so much more time I could have dedicated to like business ventures or other things where I wasn't studying or working. But I definitely would have done some things different. But let's kind of move on to the first real thing that we're going to talk about here. So let's talk about your investing background to start. What does it entail? If it entails anything, if it doesn't entail anything, that's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But what does it entail? What is your, background knowledge? Do you have any investments? Go ahead, you have the floor.
It's a pretty simple answer. My investing background just goes back to a phone app, Robinhood, as you guys know. It's really that. I don't know much about it. And it's something not that I've kind of always been against, but something I was always like, oh, this is not a realistic like job option, as like most people look at it as gambling. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
Right.
oh, it's just as good as going to the gas station and getting some kind of like scratch ticket, and that's a completely false perception. And so the main reason now, or as of recent now, but is I'm just not knowledgeable in it
Right.
enough. You know what I mean? So that's what's kind of kept me from moving forward with that.
I think that's smart because a lot of people, they make a lot of dumb mistakes when they first get into investing, the stock market, real estate, whatever the case may be. And I am part of the camp where I think the first time you do something, you might not always lose money, but you might not maximize your profit. And it makes sense because you're not used to it. It's outside your comfort zone. Think of it like the first time you pick up a basketball, right? You're not going to be like Steph Curry hitting 35 footers the first time you pick up a basketball, right? No, you're probably going to start at the front of the rim, and you might not even be able to reach the rim from 2 feet. It's just going to take time. That's the bottom line. And I really do think that's smart that you're dabbling in small, because I feel like if you went all in like way too fast, or maybe you just put too much money in at first, you would be sweating a little bit, to really not even sugarcoat it. But I think you'd be sweating, and with good reason, because you put a lot of money in, you're not used to the volatility, you're not seeing your portfolio go up and down on a daily basis. It can definitely be nerve-wracking, to say the least. I 100% think that. But I want to go back to the Robinhood thing. Why Robinhood? Is that just because it's what I guess is really portrayed as the simplest platform out there, or why'd you select that one over a different platform?
No, like real specific reason, honestly. I've seen apps like Acorn and just simple things like Robinhood, and it's kind of like I overheard it from other people, and it was just, oh, here's this app that could possibly, if I were to get into stocks and trading and all that, here's an app that simplifies the bridge to get to that. It's the bridge to that gap.
Right.
But,
now, we talked about this on the podcast with Evan, which actually is not released yet at the time we're filming this, so you haven't seen that yet, obviously. But we talked about how Robinhood is probably not the best platform, and I don't want to give you any advice here, but I guess I'm going to give you some unsolicited advice. But none of this is financial advice, that's for sure. We talked about how Robinhood, first off, they've crashed several times, and you can't buy anything, you can't sell anything. Basically, your account's just locked until Robinhood just gets up and running. That sketches me out as an investor,
didn't even know that,
personally, because I feel like wherever I put my money, I should have access to it. Obviously, if the stock market's closed, I can't just like sell off all my shares, but I should really have access to it and be able to ask questions about it and have a good understanding of what's going on with it at any point, whether it's 3 a.m., 5 a.m., 10 p.m., whatever the case may be. I personally think that. So the fact that they've crashed, not just once, but several times, sketches me. That's the first thing.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Right.
I mean, I haven't used the app in months, but like, there's just, to not even have that knowledge, I think it's kind of sad. I wish I had been more educated in that aspect.
I don't even think it's sad, because a lot of people just go to Robinhood. I went to Robinhood at first. Like, I used it, and then I realized that there was no need to use it because other brokerages offer commission-free trades. And I don't know if you knew this, but at first, Robinhood was like a big thing. Like, when I first started getting into investing, Robinhood was like the platform because they offered commission-free trades. Do you know what I mean by that? Yeah. And no other brokerages was doing it at the time. Like, I think Fidelity might have been like $10. Vanguard was like $20. I'm not sure exactly what it was off the top of my head. But you had to pay money every time. So if you're a new investor and maybe you're just investing $100, you have to pay $20 per trade. That doesn't seem like the most appealing thing to me. Right. So obviously, Robinhood makes a lot of sense to just go and you can just trade in out, you can get in out stocks, in out of companies like whenever you want, and it's just kind of like at your own will. You don't have to pay any fees. I guess on the other end, looking back, it might have been a blessing in disguise to have those fees, because then people won't panic sell. They'll really think about what they're doing with their money before they do it. I don't know if that makes any sense. I don't know if other people think that way. I actually just thought of this right now. But the thing that really scares me about Robinhood, and again, I said this on the podcast with Evan, is they don't have any real customer service, which really scares me, because Fidelity is one of the brokerages I use. I use Fidelity and Vanguard. Fidelity, you can call customer service any point in the day. 2 a.m., 5 a.m., 10 p.m., 3 p.m., anytime. And there's going to be someone that picks up the phone and they'll answer questions about your money. Anytime, 24/7. However, with Robinhood, they don't even have a phone number you can call. So say your account gets say your account gets locked for whatever reason. I just knocked that over. Say your account gets locked for whatever reason. You have to send them an email. And they might get back to you. Which is really scary, right?
That's sketchy.
Because I know one guy I watch on YouTube, Graham, and I mentioned this on the last podcast, but he put a little bit of money in there. I don't know what it was, but it was just a small amount of money because he tries out all different brokerages and just sees how they operate because that's what he does. See if he wants to promote them, all those different things. And he emailed them, and they never got back to him. And he sent him another email, and they said, "Oh, thank you, we're looking into this." He sent him another email. He said, "Thank you, we're looking into this." And it's like a month's gone by. And obviously it didn't bother him too much because it was a small amount of money and he uses other brokerages and he doesn't really trust Robinhood for everything I just named. But
that's money that you're playing with. Like that's.
But he has multi-millions of dollars. Like he had like maybe, like it would be like the equivalent to us buying a soda, like the amount of money he had in there. Like it was like a very small amount of money. He just was literally just had a small amount in there just to try and play around with it. But the point is, he sent all these emails and he could never get anyone to respond and unlock his account. Imagine if you had your entire portfolio, like your big dog in Robinhood, and you were emailing people trying to get it unlocked so you could buy and sell stocks. Maybe you saw some bad news around the stock and you wanted to get out of it. Maybe you just saw a big dip at a stock you really liked and you wanted to get into it. What happens if it's locked like that?
I mean, someone like me is like, not panicking.
I would be panicking.
But like, that's just not the type of person I am. But at the same time, that's crazy. Like, you don't want that kind of like instability and these questions in your mind.
Right, you really don't want to think of it like that. Like I said earlier,
you don't have to worry about it.
Right, you want to like be able to access your money. Mm-hmm. Like at the very least, you want to be able to know what's going on with it. You really want to be able to touch it whenever you want. But I kind of want to move off of the Robinhood topic now because I feel like we've talked enough about that. I feel like I've gone enough of a rant about that. Let's talk about, I know you mentioned that the stock market, there's a big, I guess, conspiracy around it that it pertains to gambling and it's the gambling investing are the same thing. How do you feel about that? What was your first impression of the stock market? Because my first impression, like all the time growing up, I always thought the stock market was gambling. And you guys already saw my story about this because it's the video about how I invested my first $100,000. That I talk about a lot in this video. But to me, I always thought the stock market was gambling. I literally thought if you're going to put money in the stock market, it's a dangerous game, and you're better off just going to Foxwoods and putting all the money on a blackjack table, just playing roulette, playing crabs. Like, I really thought that was the best place. And it took me years because at first, when I first started getting into investing, I lost $1,500 or so, I can't remember, just trying to trade. Yeah. And after doing that, I thought, this isn't for me. Investing's not for me. Investing's not for everyone. This is a gamble. This is just a stupid game. I don't want to play it. Mm-hmm. And then I realized I was just gambling money. I wasn't investing money. But anyway, to give you the mic back.
I was kind of like in the same frame of mind. It was like, oh, this is gambling. This is, you really don't know what you're doing with your money. And I think, a lot of people do think like that. And, I don't know, they feel that type of way. But the main reason why people are like that is they're out of their comfort zone and they're not knowledgeable about something. It's like it's like me meeting Josh. When I first met Josh, I thought he was, A, B, and C. And so in my mind, I'm not gonna like you, whatever. I'm gonna stay away from you. You know what I mean? But the more I got to know him, the more I got educated about a certain subject, I realized, oh, hey, here's this great guy, and we ended up becoming great friends, like I said before. But that's the same thing. It's like people, they're not knowledgeable about that subject, so let me stay away from that, and let me just kind of throw some dirt on it in a way.
I think that's a great point, and I think people do this with really everything, not just the stock market, but everything. Like, I was supposed to play in a golf tournament, and one of my friends was really worried about playing it. We're not playing in it, but he's not the best golfer. He doesn't play a ton of golf, which is fine. I mean, we have fun whenever we go, but he was very worried about playing in this tournament, and I could tell he was worried. And
better golfers, most likely.
And I think it was just because he was uncomfortable. And not to, throw any shit at him, because I probably would have been the same same boat. If I was in his
uncomfortable,
shoes,
too.
I'd be uncomfortable if I wasn't a big golfer. I never played in a tournament before. But the point I'm trying to make here is it's like that with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like now it's like I just think of it like same thing with like a YouTube channel, this podcast. First YouTube video I filmed, the first podcast with Nick I filmed, I was very nervous. I was stuttering all over my words. I couldn't finish a sentence that well. Podcast a little bit better than the first video, I think, but it was tough, and it's because I was nervous and I was uncomfortable, but I did it, and you're going to get better over time. And it's the same thing with investing, I feel like. It's not gambling, because if you put in the work and you put in the research, it's really going to pan out in the long run. You're going to be able to turn that money into so much more money. But if you don't, if I just stopped after one video, if I just stopped after one podcast, it wasn't going to get any better at the end of the day. It really was not. It just takes time and it takes effort to put in the work.
Yeah, and not to get too off topic, but just like in that same subject, you've come a long way in your videos. I've just seen, the growth and the development and, just everything, how you enunciate yourself. Just you're more personable.
Right, I think that's a good way to describe it.
A lot of people, they get in front of a camera and it's like, they're like a robot. You know what I mean? You get like a little nervous, you stutter, stuff like that, but you get comfortable.
Right. I'd love to, like, years down the line, actually kind of make some sort of cut up, like from my first video with the potato quality where it was like blurry, there was a window in the background, then maybe like more of like kind of like just documenting my journey, see like the quality come up, because I really want to get a new camera. I'm not going to invest in it just yet, but I got that lens. I feel like since I got that lens, the quality of the videos have gone up a lot. I feel like when it gets that, I get that camera. Once this channel grows a little bit more, I really think like it's going to go through the roof, the quality of the videos. And I'm like super excited to see that.
I'm excited too, man.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a great thing. Do you have any kind of ventures or like side hustles or anything you're starting right now, or are you just kind of?
I'm just kind of really getting into gaming. So during the whole quarantine phase, I kind of fell out of love with the gym, and I'm kind of like done with sports in a way.
Right.
It's just like it's kind of like I'm just getting too old to do stuff like that. And but I ended up falling in love with gaming, and it sounds really weird, but so now I'm kind of starting this journey to stream, and I bought my own PC and camera, and it's a little nerve-wracking because, like you said, when you first start, you're out of your comfort zone, you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, now I'm going to be playing amongst, hundreds, maybe thousands of people. And, but I'm just kind of like following that, seeing what happens, because I know I'm actually enjoying doing what I'm doing.
Right. It's also just tough. Like, I guess it's tough, but it's easy. It's easy to, I guess, make it and be successful when you go down that road. But it's also tough because everyone thinks, why can he do that? Like, what's so special about him that he can do that?
I'm pretty like, above average. That's about it.
Yeah.
Not like the greatest.
But I don't think people really care. But I think in the back of their minds, a lot of people do think that. Like, they'll never say it to you. They'll just be like, yeah, it's your hobby. That's what you like to do. But I find it's very rare. I find anyone that's like, I really believe that you can do this. And I'm not saying they're not out there. Like, they're out there. I know they're out there.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't expect, like, in an audience of, like, all of my friends, all of my family to come to me and be like, look, we believe in you. Like, you can do this. Like, I don't see that happening.
It's really true, and I saw it firsthand. I have a friend who's, I'm not going to name drop him, but he's really big on Facebook gaming. He's got almost 200K. It's crazy. He's getting, like, thousands of viewers every stream. And he's not even the best gamer in our like group. Right. We have a friend who's actually a pro like Call of Duty player, and
that's pretty sick.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. But the point being is he's not even the better player. But I guess the next like best player is the one who blew up through TikTok and Facebook gaming and all that. But no one really like believed in him. Right. So it took him like a whole year to even kind of come up, and now he moved to Vegas. It's crazy.
Right. And I think that's really reassuring in a way, and I think that honestly sets a lot of people up for success, having seen someone you're very close to really make it in that regards. Because I kind of like that's part of the reason I really wanted to have Nick as the first guest on the podcast, because we went to the same high school. Yeah. Obviously, he's a little bit older than me, but he's not that much older than me. And I'm like, he can grow a YouTube channel to like hundreds of thousands of subscribers. And he's like, I had no business being in the fitness industry. But he did it, and he made it. And
but
so,
why can't you?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Like, why can't I do that? Why can't I be, the next big thing, like potato finance, like go to the moon,
While
or whatever.
helping
Like,
people.
right, exactly, and it's something I like
That's
doing,
great.
and that's what he said when he was on here. He's like, you might as well just, keep riding it, like keep doing it, especially if you enjoy doing it, and you'll just look up one day and you'll see how far you've actually come. But going back to your YouTube channel, what's kind of your goal with that? Where do you see that going? What do you want to do with it? Or are you just kind of posting random stuff here and
I'm
there?
just kind of posting random stuff. I had an issue with so I was banned from Call of Duty for said hacking. I got accused. I got my account back, and now I'm getting back to making content now. So it's really just kind of I'm kind of free balling right now, and I'm seeing where it goes.
How many subscribers do you have?
I think 13. Nothing major.
You got to start somewhere. Believe me on that. Are you on Twitch too?
I used to be on Twitch, and so I'm not really looking to. I think the problem with that is once you start on Twitch and you get affiliated, I think you're not allowed to post through other different platforms.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel
it could be wrong, but
I'm trying to think. I feel like I follow a bunch of guys who are on Twitch. I don't think so. No, because I think I could have sworn. Maybe I'm remembering this wrong, but I could have sworn I saw a story from Max Tuning last night about how he was going live on Twitch.
I mean, I know you can do both. I think it's something to do with the partnership agreement.
Maybe you would probably know better than I would because I am
but
not on Twitch, and you guys are probably not going to see me on Twitch anytime soon. Like, let's just put it that way. At the end of the day,
but that wasn't the main reason why I wasn't on Twitch. Really, I feel like I can reach more people on Facebook.
Yeah, you think so? Why do you think that?
It's easier. I guess it's more of my capability of gaining an audience there.
I think so too, because it's honestly just one less step, Like, think of it this way: like you obviously have people like me, like your close friends, that you could post anything, and you could send it to me. I'm gonna go watch it. Like, I'm gonna go like the video. I'm gonna watch the entire thing. I'm gonna comment on it. Like, you have people like that, like your real supporters. Then you have those people that are kind of like in no man's land and kind of like below that, where it's like you're friends with them on Facebook, but you don't really know them too well. You haven't talked to them in so many years. Those are the people that are just going to scroll right past that link. They're going to be like, I have to click on this YouTube link to actually go watch the video. That I feel like a lot of them aren't going to do.
Who's interested in seeing this idiot play video games?
Right. But if you're just like scrolling down it and all of a sudden it starts playing on its own, like that dopamine effect just kicks in and like, what is this? What's going on? Let me just keep watching. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like that's actually a really good idea, and that's a smart idea. I think you'd honestly could probably see some success making some Instagram reels too.
I think you're right. It's kind of something I've been staying away from just because, once again, I'm just not like very like educated in that. What are they have to be more than a minute videos or something like that?
I'm not sure how that works, to be honest. But TikTok, I think you would do really well on TikTok because that's a very, very favorable algorithm. I think if you start posting 2 to 3 times a day on TikTok, and you don't even have to do that much because your videos are like 2 minutes, so you can just take a 30-second clip from some of them and then throw a title in at the end of it. I think you could really grow an audience by doing that because gaming's not going anywhere. Like, if anything, this is just the beginning of gaming, like just the beginning. A lot of people got into gaming last year because of the pandemic. That habit's not going to be broken. And, people, I said this too, but I did a little bit more research on it. I was under the impression that I wasn't sure if I wanted to invest in a gaming company because I didn't know how it was going to play out with the pandemic. But the fact of the matter is, people are still going to game. They're still going to stay home and game, whether the world's in a once-in-a-100-year health event or not. Maybe not as many people, but there's still going to be an audience for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got phones.
Right, exactly. Let's get back on topic here, though. So let's talk about what specific reason you don't invest regularly. I know you said you have a Robinhood account, but how come you don't? And I know this might go back to you just not knowing a ton about it, like you already said. But what's stopping you from taking $10, $15, $20, $100, whatever you can afford, out of your paycheck and just putting it in that Robinhood account? Or maybe if you go with a different brokerage after this, what's stopping you from just investing a little bit of money into an S&P 500 fund or anything like that to really start to grow your wealth?
Honestly, I don't really have a good reason. It's been sometimes I get we all get lazy. That's my reason is you get wrapped up in your work life. You got I got a pup at home. I got bills. I got this car payment, and I get home and it's like, do I really want to like do this sometimes, or I have to find the motivation to do something? Am I going to go to the gym? And I do say that I'm not educated in the subject. It's true. It's
Right.
I'm not. I am concerned where I would want to put my money towards, because that's money that could be invested somewhere else or
Right.
put towards something else. But yeah, the main reason is I feel like I'm not educated enough in that subject, and I don't want to mess up and just put my money and pretend that I know what I'm doing. I don't.
Right. Do you read any finance books at all? Do you listen to any finance books?
Nope.
There's some great books out there that I think will really change your mindset and really start to put things into perspective for you. I think this kid I work with, I just recommended a few of these books too, but I really think they can really change your mindset and they can do a lot for you. So I know
you have to check out those books.
I would recommend, I think for you it might be easier to listen to them because you can listen to them at the gym, you can listen to them driving to work, you can listen to them at work sometimes. I feel like that would be a lot better for you as opposed to, like you said, it might be tough to find the mental energy to sit down and read a book, especially if you don't have the habit built of reading. Like me, it's very easy to read a book for 30 minutes, an hour a day. But for someone,
for me to read.
Right, for someone that doesn't have that habit built, it might actually be more counterproductive because you might not want to do it at first, then you might get frustrated that you have to do it, and then you're not paying attention, and then you might just throw the book away and clock out. But I would definitely check out Audible, download Little Book of Common Sense Investing.
Okay.
I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Start with those. Money Master the Game by Tony Robbins. I know a lot of people don't like him, and I understand why people don't like him. That book really changed my life. That really started to piece things together. That book, when I finished reading it, I was ready to go, and I was ready to start putting money into the market. That really put a lot of things into perspective for me. So check that one out too, but those 4.
Yeah, I'm probably going to look at the audiobook. Remember that time we went to Barnes & Noble?
No.
You bought that sleep book. You bought
Did I?
Yeah.
I vaguely remember this. I remember the book. I vaguely remember doing this.
I bought a book, and it's still sitting on my nightstand. It's like on page 10.
I do remember that now. That's so funny. That's hilarious.
But yeah, it just reminds me of that.
What book was it that you bought?
Dude, I think it was something about how to just becoming a better person. Enriching your character.
I vaguely remember, but it was a self-development book on the top of my head. But
it's something like that.
That was years ago.
It was a sleep book, how to get more sleep, because you are not reckless, but you don't sleep. You work constantly and it's admirable in a way, but I wish you would take a little more rest. I don't know. I'm not anyone to tell you how to live your life, but you're just someone that I've known is always working.
Yeah, dude, that's been one thing I've really been trying to balance a little bit better because when I was in school, it was very tough working 16-hour days. Again, I talk about this in the 100 grand video, but it was really tough sometimes working 16-hour days sometimes and doing homework before or after, working 6 to 10, getting up at 4 to do homework. It was just tough, and I don't miss it. I've gotten better at really trying to put like an emphasis on my sleep. I do try to get at least 6 hours a night. I really do try to get at least 6 hours a night now. Before it was a lot less.
Oh, that's awesome. I remember you just weren't sleeping.
It was like insane hours. It'd be like I'll go to bed at like midnight, 1 o'clock, and I'll get up at 4. Like it was like it used to be like a lot worse, but I've gotten a lot better about that I can say. And I think I really am trying to get a little bit better. I'd really like to get that to like 7 hours consistently. It just sucks to say this, but there's just not enough hours in the day sometimes, because it's not like I'm sitting around watching Netflix all night, which there's nothing wrong with that if you do. But sometimes it's like, all right, work 8 hours then, or, get up at like 4 or 5, do some work, like edit a video, maybe film a video. Because a lot of these videos I film, they're filmed at like 5 o'clock in the morning. So if my energy levels are a little low sometimes, that is why. But, edit a video, film a video, go to work for 8 hours, get out of work, maybe go to the gym, maybe go play golf, do something fun to kind of take my mind off of work, come home, do 2 or 3, 4 more hours more of work, and then maybe flip a game on for a little bit for 30 minutes, an hour, to wind down before I go to bed. And it's just like, where'd the day go? Like, I feel like 2021 has gone by, the first 6 months have gone by way much faster than any other year. Faster than 2020, faster than 2019, like insanely fast. I can't even believe it.
It kind of feels like it goes, by faster.
I know. Soon we're going to be in our 40s.
Please
like, I'll probably still be making these podcasts when I'm 40. Like, you know what I mean? That's ironic. That's funny. But let's kind of get back here to what we were talking about. So we were talking about why you don't invest regularly. Is there any type of investing topic that really, really sticks out to you? One that you really want to move towards, one that you might think is a better route to take, and why that one over maybe some of the other ones?
Yeah, probably just start reading more and getting more educated in this, because it is something that it does interest me, and I wish it interested me more. I think it just doesn't, because I don't know crap about it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And like I said earlier, that's just kind of human nature. It's like when you're not really comfortable with something, you just like block it out. I also read, you know how when, say you have like two decisions, like you can either go right or you can go left, and you don't know which way to go. You're really thinking about whether to go right or go left. Say you go left, right? Mm-hmm. Well, that was a tongue twister. Say you go left. You go left, and you're thinking about it. You're like, should I have gone right? Should I have gone left? Like, what should I have done? Was that the right decision to go left? Your brain's going to tell you and talk you into thinking that going left was the right decision. Mm-hmm. Now let's rewind. Again, left and right. Now this time you go right. Same thing's going to happen. Your brain's going to say, should I have gone right? Should I have gone left? Did I make the right decision? Your brain's going to trick you into thinking, or it's going to talk you into thinking that you should have gone right. So it's like whatever decision you make, your brain's going to, unless you can change this mindset, which everyone can. By no means, there's no reason no one can. But you're going to believe whatever decision you made was the right decision. And it's just so hard, because I think this is also part of the reason why people stay in their comfort zone, because their brain tricks them into thinking.
They get so headstrong in just this one lane, like you're saying.
Right. Their brain just essentially tricks them into thinking that whatever decision they made was the right decision. Mm-hmm. And I really just, like I said in the last podcast, I've said this in several podcasts, I say to myself, am I comfortable doing this? Yes, no. Okay, no. Is this threatening my life in any way? Like, is it hindering my health? Yes, no. Okay, no, it's not. Why am I not doing this then? Why am I not doing this then if this is really going to be the better move for me? That's how I try to think about those things.
That's I like that.
Yeah.
I actually really do like that.
Most people don't think of it that way, but once you start thinking of things that way, you're really going to start pushing yourself outside your comfort zone. I really believe that. But anyway, back to the initial question. I kind of meant more like, are you attracted to stocks? Are you attracted to real estate? Like, what type of investment really piques your interest?
I guess mainly stocks. I've never really considered real estate. My dad used to do real estate, and then he got out of it, and it just, I hear it's it's jumping now. Real estate is the move.
Yeah, the market is definitely hot. But why stocks over real estate? Do you have any reason at all?
There really is no preference. It's just kind of like, let me just learn something. Let me choose. It's either real estate or stocks, and stocks seems more appealing in a sense.
It's more convenient, I feel like. Real estate can be a little bit of a headache. I feel like once your wealth gets to a certain point, it makes sense to diversify into real estate. I feel like at first, real estate can really be hectic. And Nick and I talked about this on the podcast. There's so much paperwork that goes into it. Even if you know what you're doing, it can still be a headache. And then the market we're in, granted, the stock market also has a lot of overvalued assets right now. But in real estate, it's like that market's so hot. Like, you're seeing houses go like, they'll be listed at like 400. They're going for 450 minimum the next day. It doesn't even make sense to me. It just completely blows my mind. But do you have any interest to get into real estate at some point, or you just really want to focus on stocks, then we'll see what real estate brings down the road?
Minimal interest right now, but see where it goes.
Right. That's awesome. I think that's definitely the best way to go about doing that. So, have you ever heard of the concept of paying yourself first?
No.
So, basically, when you pay yourself first, it's say your paycheck comes out to $1,000, right? You are going to, before you pay your bills, before you pay anything, before you buy food, and this is obviously a little different depending if you're living like strictly like paycheck to paycheck. Like if your rent's like
my mind is going
maybe like $975 and you're making $1,000, you might not be able to do this, but then there's other things that you can focus on. Mm-hmm. But what you want to do is you want to take a certain percentage right off the top of your check and invest it. And that's paying you first because you work for that money. Why are you paying the lender? Why are you paying the dealership? Why are you paying all these other people first when you can just take, $100 off the top of your check or whatever you can afford and just invest it right away? And that's so important because you worked hard for that money. It's not like someone else worked for that money. Like, you worked for it, so you deserve to pay yourself first. You deserve to take control of your financial future before you pay anyone else. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, you still have to pay your bills, but that's going to lead to you cutting something else out. So maybe it's going out to eat. Maybe it's some other luxurious thing. Like, you're going to have to cut something else out. But it's going to flip that switch in your mind. Like, once you start seeing those gains in your portfolio, you're going to be like, all right, I could have saved money here. Like I could have invested this money. I could have invested that money, which is a blessing and a curse. Don't get me wrong.
Well, I think that way now, but without the the investing aspect. No.
Right. So I think if you do that, you'll see a lot of great things. I really think that's the first mindset you should have. And do it with small money first. Do it with like, $20, $30, $40, like small amounts first. Like, and then you'll see that portfolio grow to $100. Then eventually you'll see it to 200, then a 500, then 1,000. And you'll be like, wow, this is actually a really good feeling seeing my wealth increase. But again, it all goes back to first, you got to really learn your strategy and really start to educate yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I wish I invested my money more in, like more self-productive ways. Not to get too off topic, but I used to be in that mindset. Oh, I'm working 9 to 5 or whatever. That frame of mind, and I can't wait for Friday so I can go out to drink or something, or go hang out with my friends.
Right.
And all that money that I invested in that that way, I could have put it towards something productive like investing.
Right. Warren Buffett once said, "The best asset that you can put money into is yourself."
Yeah.
And I think that is fantastic. I think every single person should invest in themselves, whether it's a course. Granted, you can find everything online these days, so you don't have to pay for a course. But if you need something laid out for you, I think courses are a great investment. I think books are great investments. Or you could just invest your time and just watch some YouTube videos. Maybe this podcast, like and subscribe, as always. But I think go about it that way. I think that would definitely really help a lot of things. But let's go back to what I was going to say before I went on that rant about paying yourself first. If you don't invest money regularly, where does it go? Do you just put it in a savings account, checking account? What do you do with it?
Usually it's like checkings and savings. It's nothing like...
You just leave it there, like you don't...
I don't touch it.
You don't touch it. So look at it this way, right? When you invest in assets, real estate, stocks, whatever the case may be, there's a chance, be modest here, there's a chance that you're going to make money, right? If you put in the work, you know your strategies, you know what you're putting your money into, it's a very good chance you're going to make money tens and tens times over. If you leave that money in a savings account, there is a 100% chance, 100, that you're going to lose money. A 100% chance that you're going to lose money.
Wow.
Do you understand that concept?
Now I do.
Explain it to me.
That if you leave your money in your savings...
But do you understand why you're going to lose money?
I guess...
It's okay if you don't. Most people don't. Tons of people don't.
I don't, to be honest. And I'm just taking what you're saying. And it's like, it is a realization.
Right.
My money's not doing anything.
Right. Look at it this way. So go back 30 years ago. What did $200 buy you 30 years ago?
It's a hell of a lot of groceries, but...
A lot more than today, right?
Yeah, it's a lot more.
That's where it comes in, because inflation is just going to slowly chip away. And you might not notice it in 2022. You might not notice it in 2023. But if you leave $1,000 in your savings account and don't touch it and you leave it there for, 15, 20 years, that $1,000 is going to get you a lot less further in 2041. I didn't do that math. In 2041 than it is going to today.
Okay.
I can guarantee you that. Go.
That's a good point about the whole inflation thing. I never thought of it like that.
It's not taught. No one teaches it. When you get home, I want you... You have homework. Homework. I want you to get home and I want you to go on Google and type in inflation calculator and play around with that. And you'll see, put in any amount of money you want, $100, $1,000, and just see what it was worth, say, 1960, 1970, 1980, and see what that would be worth today. And you're going to run some numbers and it's going to be completely mind-boggling. Like completely mind-boggling how much less in value that dollar bill is going to be worth. Now, going back to that, along the same lines of compound interest, do you understand what compound interest is?
Not entirely properly.
So basically what compound interest is you're making interest on your interest. Okay. So say you have $1,000, right? And you get a 10% return. That's going to come out to $1,100. Now, say you get a 10% return the following year. That's not going to come out to $1,200. That's going to come out to 1,200 something. I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, it's out of 1,100.
Right. Okay. And obviously with small numbers like that, you might be like, it's $100. What does it matter? But when you keep putting money into it, it keeps growing. That money is going to continue to compound. It's the eighth wonder of the world. And it's really super important that, especially if you're younger, you start to take advantage of this, because, leading to my next question for you, time is something you can never get back. Do you ever think about about your time? And when you're not investing, you're losing out on time. Therefore, you're losing out on the time you could be investing, the time you could be compounding. Do you ever think of things like that and you think, if I didn't start investing 5-10 years ago, where would I be today?
And not in the investing aspect, but mostly like a personal approach, or like kind of person. Like, what do you do with yourself as a person?
Right.
If you're wasting it on something, that's time wasted. Like you said, we're not getting any younger. We're about to be 40.
Right. Yeah, we're gonna be mid-40s before we know it. But I think it's so important, because I don't think the majority of people realize.
Oh, definitely not.
That you hear people say all the time, I'll start investing next year. I'll start investing.
That was me. It is me.
I'll start investing when I get a full-time job. I'll start investing when I do this. I'll start investing when I do that.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a tomorrow. The sun's not going out for a few billion more years. It's not. Like, there's always going to be a tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The point I really think is just start today. It doesn't matter if it's $5. It doesn't matter if it's $10. It doesn't matter what type of money you can afford to put in. Just start today. Get your feet wet. Dabble into the market. I feel like that's so important, because, again, you got to learn, like we already talked about. You got to learn the skills first before you really start to make big money off of it. But you really got to get your feet wet, dabble into it, and then see what happens.
All right.
How do you feel about that?
No, I agree. It's funny, and sometimes it makes me want to like punch myself in the face, because you've been in my ear about it for like years now.
I have. That's true.
Like every day at work. Sometimes.
Every day. I think.
What would you say?
What would I say?
Did you start your Roth IRA?
I would. I've been trying to get him to start a Roth IRA for years now, guys. It's like insane how long I've been trying to get him to start a Roth IRA.
Stubborn.
Did you start one?
No.
Why not?
It's just being an idiot, I guess. No, really just being lazy. And I guess I think you actually told me you kind of helped me out in the approach of how to like start something like that.
Right.
So how would I actually start something like that?
All you have to do is, it's very easy. You can literally do it right now on the computer. It takes probably 10 minutes. Just go to whatever brokerage. Robinhood, don't go there.
Will not go there.
They don't have one. I don't think you can get one through Robinhood. I have no idea, because I'm 95% sure you can't do that through Robinhood for a lot of reasons. But just go to Fidelity, go to Vanguard, and just click. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it's just like open account, and you'll see like Roth IRA up there. It's very simple. But you also have to, very important, a lot of people don't know this either, you have to pick the fund that you're going to invest in. So the Roth IRA is not the investment in itself. You have to pick the stock, the fund, whatever the case may be, the total stock market index fund. You have to actually pick what you want to buy and put your money into.
Okay, I did not know that.
That's also very easy to do. All you have to do is just go buy stock, buy fund, and just type in the ticker symbol, which is VOO is like VOO, like the abbreviation more or less. And it'll come right up. Again, research before you do that, but I think
will do.
I think that would be really good for you to do, personally. But it's your decision. Do whatever you'd like. But I think a lot of people don't, they know like everything we've talked about so far on this podcast, but it's really hard to rationalize and put things into perspective, because everything I've said to you, and you can attest to this if I'm wrong, but I feel like everything we've talked about so far here today, it's really hasn't been rocket science, It's really been super simple, but I can, tell me if I'm wrong, I can kind of see it in your face. You have a much better understanding of everything that I'm talking about than you did when you walked in the door.
Yeah, definitely. And, I hope that's the goal that people get from this video, or if it's from, your other videos, because I was the idiot on episode 1 that asked them, did you buy AMC? But yeah, it's I want to get a better grasp of this, and I definitely have I guess gotten more comfortable in my reasoning. Oh, I should actually act up on this. I should make a move. Right.
Now, last question for you. This is where you're going to get the most value out of this. This is where you have the floor. You are the podcast host. What questions do you have for me? What can you ask me right now that I can answer to help you really walk out of here and really feel confident opening a Roth IRA, starting to invest in the stock market, starting to invest in something else? what can I answer that's really going to inspire you and motivate you to really start to take control of your financial future?
Well, I don't really think that there's one person that's going to inspire me besides, I don't know. I need to be, I wish I was more self-motivated to get into something like this. I mean, I am more now. I mean, I don't want to be, just anyone that's just like, oh, I know about trading. I know about Doge. And, I mean, but like I want to be more educated. I hope that's what people get out of this is that, don't be a rock. Don't be under that rock. Don't be, don't, if you don't know something, don't just judge it and, talk shit about it, learn, what I mean?
Right. It's like those people that read like,
talk about properly.
It's like one of those people that just reads one news article and they think they're like a genius and know everything. But
yeah.
Let me try to rephrase the question here. What loose ends can I tie up for you? Like, what questions do you have that make you feel uncomfortable investing?
I would definitely like to know. You said you had some books to to educate myself more about this. I definitely like to read those books. Maybe know some more people that I could maybe follow and help educate myself in this subject. And I don't want like a walk in the park. And I know I've asked you for like advice before. I've looked for maybe like shortcuts along the way, but I do. I guess I don't know how to really say it. I mean,
like just kind of like more of like a guide, because I feel like I kind of know this you're sitting there right now. You're kind of at the point where it's like you have so many questions. There's so many things you don't necessarily understand, but you can't formulate them into words.
I don't want to be a jerk and just be like, oh, what's this and that? What should I do? Because other people are working hard for this. You know what I mean? You're working hard for the answers. I don't really think it's right for someone to just be like, oh, what should I do?
Right.
But I do want to learn, how to get to that point where I know a general direction where to go.
So first off, I don't mind answering any question you have. I think it's actually a good thing to really start to ask questions, especially when you're newer to something like this. Like you can ask. I've had several people when I first started. I went and asked them probably the dumbest questions out there, like things that now it's like I would like laugh that I even asked those questions. But you got to start somewhere. That's the bottom line. So there's nothing wrong with asking questions. I also think Graham Stephan could help you a lot on YouTube. I think stay away from the individual stock analysis videos because I think that might just get you a little overwhelmed. It might put you in over your head. So kind of start with like general stock market knowledge. What is the stock market? The history of the stock market, how stocks move, why they go up some days, why they go down some days. Like start with the basic. Graham also does a lot about talking about credit cards. He's into real estate. He's really into real estate, but he also is just general personal finance. I think he can help you a lot. Andre Jick also has a lot of good solid personal finance videos. I don't watch him as much, but Graham he was one of the first YouTubers I watched that I really rationalized with, and I'm just like, I can do this. Like I don't need to be making, $500,000 a year to retire early. Like I can retire early making much, much less than $100,000 a year. Like people think you need to have a big income in order to have a big investment portfolio. And that's not the case at all. You can have a very small income compared to others, but you can still have a much greater life because you know how to invest and it's a tool. And that's how I look at money. I look at money as a tool to get me to where I want to go. Most people look at money to get by. They look at money, they work because they need to work. I look at every job I'm at as temporary. Every single job. Because I am there to get that tool. I'm there to get the hammer in order to put the nail in the board, which is my portfolio. And I think that's a good mindset to have.
That's a very good mindset.
Right. Do you have any other questions? Do you have anything else you want to plug or anything else before we wrap up here?
I guess not. I mean, my plug is, what is it? I've changed my Instagram so many times because it's gotten like hacked or people try to press whatever. But my Instagram is jv.401 and my gaming account is hybrid.1k. I'm hybrid1k on TikTok and on YouTube. And I guess that is my plug. Whatever. Thanks for having me, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
This
man.
time,
Thanks
you
for
know,
coming
taking
on.
the-
Maybe you can come on again sometime, and we can kind of do like a little recap of how your
How I've
research
grown,
and how
yeah.
how you've grown. Like I think that'd be cool to do to see you go from potato on the Potato Finance podcast to a red potato on the Potato Finance podcast. You know what I mean? But anyway,
Yeah.
Josh's Instagram is right here. You guys see that on the screen. His YouTube and TikTok and anything else he sends me that he wants to plug will be linked in the description down below. Go check it out, especially if you are into gaming. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Like, download, subscribe as always, and I will see you guys in the next one.